Hey there, we are going to get started today with Creo Parametric. So first thing we're going to do is open up with this icon over here. And while we're waiting, I'll tell you a little bit more about it. So Creo Parametric is a 3D CAD program that you can use to make models and create designs for parts that you can 3D print or make in manufacturing. So it's really versatile. When you first open it up, it's going to say, it's going to ask you if you want to take a tutorial, and we're going to say no and tell it we're going to start working. So every time you open up Creo, every single time, you need to select a working directory. That tells Creo where you want it to save things. And it doesn't remember from one time to the next, kind of like a middle schooler. So that's something that you're just going to have to get into the habit of every time. We're going to go up here. This area up here is called the ribbon. And then we have down here, this is going to be your workspace once we open up a file. And then over here is our folder browser right now. Eventually that's going to be our model tree. We'll get to that later. And then up here is where we'll have different menu options. So there's lots of different choices of things that we can use in Creo. But we're just going to go through a few of them today. So we're going to click Select Working Directory. And you are going to go here to where it says, right now mine says NACS. You're just going to say MCWIT Labs, and you're going to double click on that. Hopefully you're already logged into your Google Drive. If you're not, that's something you need to do now. But you're going to choose Google Drive G and double click. And then you're going to click on My Drive. And then I want you to use your right mouse button and click over in this free area over here. And we are going to click on New Folder. And we are going to call that new folder Creo. It might give me an error because I have created that folder name before. It did not. Cool. So anyway, we're going to go up here to the back button. Just click it once. And we're going to, this is the only time you have to do this. You only have to do this one time. But we are going to right click on the Creo button. And we are going to go all the way down here to Add to Common Folders. Okay, we are going to add this, and that gives you a bookmark, and that way you can go through and just click on that button when you go to select your working directory, and it will take you through that MCWIT Labs, the Google Drive, My Drive, and to Creo. So it just does all that for you, and it makes it a lot shorter. Okay, once this last thing here is Creo, then you can press OK, and you have told Creo where you want it to save. Then we're going to go to File New. Okay, when you do this, there's several different file types that you can choose from. It defaults to part, and that's where we want it to stay. Eventually, we'll take a bunch of parts and put them together and assemble them, but for now, we're just going to stay with part, and it should be solid. We are going to call this one Test, and click OK, and it is going to open up a file and give us lots of options. All right, so we have a bunch of different menus up here. We have a bunch of different choices up here in the ribbon. This here where we see the different parallelograms, that is your workspace. And then over here on the left side, we have our model tree. So that shows us the different items that we have on our workspace, and we can choose those, select them, and manipulate them right over there. So each of these parallelograms represents a plane. A plane is 3 points that are not on the same line in space, and that creates like a flat surface. So one of these matches up with the x-axis, one of them matches up with the y-axis, and then one of them matches up with the z-axis. For our purposes, we are usually going to click on top. Well, there we go. Not sure why it wouldn't let me choose it over there. Okay, so on your desktops, this should turn the whole plane green. Mine just outlines it in green. I'm not really sure why, but then we're going to choose extrude. All right, to extrude something is to make something that is two-dimensional that we've just drawn like on a flat surface, like on a piece of paper, and you're going to give it a third dimension. Okay, it's like pulling it out and it's making it 3D. All right, so we're going to choose extrude, and when we do that, that brings up a whole menu, and this is the sketch menu. So you have lines and rectangles and circles and text and all sorts of different options that you can do. Then in this tiny menu right here at the top of your workspace, you're going to choose what's called Sketch View. Okay, Sketch View helps you to pull back to the plane that you're working on, and so it's like where it's going to, when you click it, it's got the right pointing arrow, and it looks like a backwards kind of a squared off C, and it brings you to that that like a top-down view. Okay, so it's kind of like if we're holding like an Amazon box and we're looking straight down at it. That's what we're viewing right now. Now, if you scroll with your red wheel on your mouse, it takes it in and out like you're used to doing. Now, if you hold down on that and press down on that red wheel and move your mouse around, it rotates that workspace around so you can see what you've drawn from all kinds of angles. But now we're not in the same place that we were just a minute ago. So if we choose that sketch view again, it brings us back to that front facing, or that top plane, and the one that we're drawing on. All right, so we've covered the basics, and you guys are ready for the next video. So go ahead and move on to the square video, and I'll see you then.